Hi, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to do a requested hymn, which I appreciate the request, and it got me to fix up the chart that I had started preparing for Amazing Grace. Okay, so as we always do, we're going to do a little bit of warm up, right? So whenever you sit down, of course, you always want to check your tuning, and the call of the ukulele wild is G, C, E, A. So that's referred to as a C-tuned ukulele. Most of the strings are tuned to the pitch that's required for a C major chord, the notes being C, E, and G. That's a first, a third, and a fifth. Not to be confused to the chords of a key, right? So individual notes versus chords of a key. So the chord being made up of more than one note being played at the same time that are harmoniously pleasing, which varies depending on where you are on the planet. All right, so again, we're going to position it. We're going to do a little bit of our vocal warm-up, which I also recommend that you do each time you practice for efficient practicing, and train your ear to listen intently, right? Because most people have been listening to recorded music their whole lives. Many songs that you play or have heard, use 3 chords from a key. So the key will vary, and as I said, I'm just preparing a bit of info on how to present that in a way that's quite understandable. But again, let's just continue with our tuning of our ear. And as you listen to recorded music, try to pick out where those chords are changing. Those are called musical intervals or steps. Okay, so we're going to pluck that lowest in tune string, which is middle C on the piano. The same as middle C on the piano. La. The 3 components of beginner voice work would be a relaxed belly, sitting up, quite straight, relaxed belly, a breath. So you want to be able to take a good breath in. So relaxing that belly, fill your lungs, and just realize that as you're doing a long held sustained note, the muscles around your vocal cords are learning how to organize themselves. So if you hold a long note in pitch, it's going to train that to do that around the vocal cords. Okay, so we're going to do that again. C, la, and then E. So listening to the in tune string, we've gone up 2 steps. Well, C, D, E. So depending on how you're counting it, la, sustain it as long as you can. Pushing out the breath, vary the volume. And then G, which is this. Notice that we did all open strings, and I'm just using my thumb to come across the string. The other one that we don't do is the A, but we would turn that to fit in with our C notes of a C major chord. We would be fretting it here at the 3rd. And just a minor introduction of what's going on there with these markers of these fret wires, now that we know a bit more, is that they mark or demark each is the same as a piano key. So they're half musical steps, right? So this is an A string, right? We know that. And this would be B flat. You don't need to know that, also called A sharp. And then this is a B, and this now becomes a C. So we're pressing it very deliberately when we do a C chord in that spot. Okay, so let's just go through a few chords to warm up and then jump into our song. So we're going to do a C chord, good positioning. Once again, I didn't take my watch off. There we are. We've got that sorted out. So we're in position, forearm coming across. Do a bit of that, getting your strum finger ready, coming across, loose. And you can think also of like flicking water if you wanted to use all your fingers, right? That's another option. Some people like to use their thumb and then come up like that. I prefer to use the index finger because it simplifies when you learn to do an up strum, in my opinion. Just my opinion. F, so thumb in back, pressing with the 2 fingers in the front to form a good grip there. We're not out. We've come back. We're sitting up straight. We're relaxed, and strum. And then we're going to go to the G7, which we're using in this song. And then we're going to go to C. So let's just go through all those chords without stopping. Here we go. 1, 2 bars each. So if you're still struggling to get those into position, let's go at a really slow tempo. So we're going to go 1, 2, and thinking about F and where it's positioned. Here we go. 2, 3, 4, and another 2. Now G7, relax. 2, 3, 2, back to C. 2, 3, 4, 1. So when you're just doing the whole note, right? So that's one sound for 4 beats. That's called a whole note. It fills up the whole measure. That can help you when you're still trying to learn to get these chord shapes, to devote more of your brain energy towards being able to do that. And then you can go back to quarter notes. So Amazing Grace. Now you will find this with more complicated chords and in different keys, but I've managed to just use the 3 chords that we are learning. We've learned C, F, and G7 to do this. This song is in 3/4 time. That means that there's 3 beats to each measure. Now that doesn't always mean that you make 3 sounds in each of those measures, but behind the scenes is always 1, 2, 3, 1, dun, 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 right? So that's that steady rhythm. Now rhythm comes from inside of you. So you can, when I say you can tap your foot, it's just that sometimes that's hard for people to do. But if you notice that your body starts to feel that beat, that's excellent. That means that you're starting to really connect with your natural inner rhythm, which we all have, but sometimes we get lost. Okay, what else do we need to say about this? I didn't do all the verses. I just did 3, as many as I could fit on one page, right? Okay. So all right, here we go. I'm not going to try and find the first note for our singing. We're just going to jump in. So 1, nice slow tempo. Oh, what I was going to say is whenever you put up a new chart, scan it. Make sure that you don't have any what I call musical potholes that you're going to fall into by not knowing that there's a chord that you are not adept at coming at you. What you can do if you have those musical potholes is just loop the 2 chords. So do the one that is prior to the one that you find hard to change to, and really develop a plan. In this situation, we don't have any more challenging chords, but always scan down, just know, and then warm up to anything that you think is going to cause you a problem. All right, here to go. So let's 1, 2 bars of intro on the chart. You'll find that in the description box. 1, 2, 3 simple down strum. 1, 2, amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. You can do whole notes if that's easier. 'Twas grace that bound my heart to fear, and grace that set me free. 3, 1, 2. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first received. I'm gonna go back. Many dangers, toils, and snares we have already come. 'Twas grace that brought us safe thus far, and grace will lead us home. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've no less days to sing God's praise than when we first begun. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound who saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, now I found, was blind, but now I see. Okay, so a couple of things, a little, what I call a jazz moment where I did not the chord that fit with the melody line. So remember, there's no mistakes, there's just jazz. Not that there's anything, jazzy about Amazing Grace, but it's just a beautiful song in 3 chords. This is in the key of C. You see that we resolve or go home to the C chord, the key chord. It is, and we are using the first, whenever you say key and then the letter after it, that is then given the number 1. So it is number 1. So it's key of C, C is 1, and then relative to that, we can figure out what numbers these other chords have by just using the alphabet. C, D, E, F is 4, and G or G7 is 5. So this would be considered a 1-4-5 song, as many are. And when musicians gather together, you will notice that the primary question that they ask is, what key is the song in? So the key sets the pitch of the song, the main pitch, and then all the chords are relative to that main chord. So then you can figure the other ones that are needed in a 1-4-5 song by knowing that key chord, it becomes number 1, and then you can just use the alphabet, remembering that it's only A, B, C, D, E, F, G. There is no H. That's one of my little jokes, that you got to go back to A, and that what varies in that seemingly simplistic thing is pitch and then semitones in between. Okay, so enjoy that. In the next video, or maybe one after, I'm going to go through and just do these as a sing and strum, Amazing Grace, Best Day of My Life, and maybe 1 or 2 other songs that we're going to add to that. Okay, enjoy your playing. Hopefully you've benefited from this lesson and you're beginning to really enjoy your musicality. If you are, and if you like the video, please like it and share it with anyone that you think might find these lessons helpful. And yeah, have a lovely day.